Good morning, good morning. Welcome to 4 by 8 Paper Stuff. I am starting today with a photograph of quotes. The prompt that I gave myself for today for my story, which is now in chapter 4 of Museum Life of this little book, is grants. So, in order to get into a museum, you have to have lots of money and you have to have lots of money for the digs and all this other stuff in a real archaeologist life. So, my character, Sarah, who is an aquatic archaeologist, is applying for grants. And in this one, she was inspired by a bunch of quotes from different artists. And so that's the background of my page. And as it turns out, I am very inspired by this also. So thank you, Sarah. I am doing this as a voiceover because I have little girls here who are very snoopy and sneaky. They don't need to be on the internet. And uh, they were misbehaving last night, so I don't trust them today. So I'm snuck in my room. I'm doing this incognito and or silently, and then I'll voice it over after they leave, which they're going to the trampoline park, I think. Um, I think another dad is coming to get them, and um, they're going off to the trampoline park, and they're going to spend the night at Olivia's house, the little girl that used to live next door, which we dearly miss, but they are sneaky. They got in here last night with my art supplies and rearranged everything, even though they've been threatened with an inch of their lives. Apparently, that wasn't close enough because they did it again. So, one of the quotes, which is from Pablo Picasso, has those colors on it. So, I took my inspiration from those colors, and I am actually just making borders around where the brochure part is still living, and I'm knocking it out and creating some frames. Um, I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew that I wanted to include some quotes on her grant application, Sarah's grant application, and see where this takes me. These are Neocolor 2s, and I know a lot of people love them. I do too. I really do, but I don't. This is not the proper application for them. Um, yep, I lost two paintbrushes last night because they put it in, what do you call it? Mod Podge and left it out, so they think that was funny. Now, granted, I do have a couple other paintbrushes, but it happens to be some of my favorite fat ones, and was not a happy grandma this morning, must say. So anyhow, um, so I'm trying to get some of the water off of this and trying to draw these, but when you do that, it takes away a lot of the color. So again, it's not the proper application. This is very shiny paper, and I'm going to go in with my tempera paint sticks in the same color families and see what happens. Um, and they react differently to water also. So, but I know they'll be okay on this shiny paper. So, yeah, just trying to regroup here with some more application of color that takes better on this shiny stuff. But in some places it didn't really adhere because there was water and the Neocolor 2s also. So, anyhow, but I still had fun doing this. And at the end, I printed out a bunch of the story parts last night while these monsters were invading my space. Um, and so I didn't get caught up, but I made some headway. Um, and a lot of them are papers that I made from pages that I've already done and other journals and or this journal, and then lightened them up, put a block of white over them, all in Procreate, and then wrote on top of them. Um, printed that out. So the font is all the same. I think it's called Jenna Sue in Pronto, I think is the application I've used. Yeah, no, Fonto. Phonto is the app. And it's got a ton of free fonts. A couple different, many different ones than what is normally available free. So then I went in with my Neocolor 2s and I went over some of that stuff. But I couldn't resist just adding a teeny tiny bit of black where there's a teeny tiny bit of white showing just to give it maybe shadow. Um, And I did not have a lot of wet in my water in my paintbrush. So it's just a tiny, tiny bit. And if I got too much, I tried to wipe it off. And I'm okay with this. It kind of just gives it enough depth in my in my world that it worked. It worked. And I just love how this turned out. And it was all prompted by Pablo Picasso in his quote. So I really like this. So now I'm coming in and trying to um, apply the proper writing to the proper page. And for some reason, I still haven't done that one. I think I wanted to put some more different color paper on the background. But, and I made some chapter headings and got all of that kind of squared away. There's some of them have space, which I could add things to later on. But I made some headway. Let's just say I made headway. So me trying to figure out where it all goes, not so easy. Um, this is the map one, which I had already stuck these pieces of paper down. That was a scrap of paper on my desk, and it happens to be the shape of South Carolina, so we're going to use that. Now, they don't always match the page opposite them. They might match the page that was before them, which is what the story is about. And that's okay with me. It doesn't have to be matchy-matchy. If it does, that's fine. There's a little bit of a margin at the top of this one, so I put that little bit that I saved from when I made this page. Um, and and then I'm going to put the little scrap that was the state of South Carolina, put it down here in the proper orientation. Um, and this was all done on Procreate, but the artwork you can tell is from my journals, because here's that page right there, which I don't have it on the right page. I thought I printed this one, but I guess I didn't. As many as I think I do, I'm still behind. But that's okay. So here is that page. I'm going to put it on the back. And again, I just transferred it over to Procreate, lightened it up a little bit, put a little bit of a white swath on top, and then wrote on top of it. And it gives it enough of the color, enough of the background, but still a space where you can write and don't lose the lettering, which I like. And some of the journal pages are even from old journals. That one is from a particularly old journal, which might be like October or November. I was trying to clean up a bunch of pictures this morning too, so that I can get ready for Vietnam. I have a huge photo USB stick that I got that I'm going to transfer a bunch of stuff over, but the amount of stuff I have on my iPad and my phone are absolutely insane. But that's okay. That is this paper. I think that's the paper opposite this one. And then I just, again, lightened it up, put some white on top of it, and went with it. Which is a great way to still use your art, still be creative, be kind of techie, as techie as I can get, and have fun. And all of that was achieved. I did it again on that same piece of paper. I don't know where that was from, but I'm thinking it was like October or November's journal. Maybe. But it does help when you save all of your a picture of all of your finished products. Which I've just had a lot of fun doing this. A lot of fun. And there's section 3 title, which is items found. And this is, the title pages are a little bit smaller, so I want some more color behind them before I glue them down. So I'm just kind of tacking them there. Although this one I glued for some reason, so now I got to come in and paint around it, because I don't want the brochure to show through completely. Little bits of it are okay. Little bits of it are okay. There's that mussel paper that I made, not mussel, oyster shell paper that I made the little ghosts in October. And that was done by tracing around oyster shells on a piece of paper with a paintbrush, and then I put it into Procreate and kind of maneuvered it a little bit. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. And I made a typo on the page before, so I corrected it. And for some reason, that piece of paper was very well glued down, so I just put the other one on top of it and went with it. And then there was another mistake made on this one, but I hadn't glued it down yet. So now I can put this one down, and I'm going to have to add some color to the background around it because it's not enough. And there's a margin on top, so I could do something with that too. And I might come in like with some vintage stickers or something. I don't know. It would be great to put one of those little tiny storyboards from on the opposite page on top of that, but they really don't match. But maybe we can make a neutral storyboard. And for some reason, I've gotten in the habit of saving my Post-its, and I thought it might be fun to put like the whole Post-it system in the back here somewhere. So anyhow, we're getting there. We're getting there. Here's museum life. But again, did I glue it down again? I sure did. Now I got to paint that page so it's not so blah looking. That's the quilt that I made the other day. The quilt top lightened up and white put on top of it. So it gives it color too. Anyhow, we're getting there. We're getting there. And I might be headed to the beach while you're watching this, so there might be another scenery change coming up if I can get everything printed in advance enough, because the printer there is no longer there. We brought it home and we decided to toss it. It was a cheap one, and it never really worked well. It was a Wi-Fi one, and the Wi-Fi was not Wi-Fiable. Is that a word? Wi-Fiable? It did not cooperate, hardly ever. We never could figure out the pattern of why it would and why it wouldn't. So anyhow, we just tossed it, and I'm using my husband's printer, which is much better than mine. So I really, really like how this has all turned out. Thank you for watching, and may or may not have a scenery change. It just depends. I might not go till Tuesday. So you might be stuck with me tomorrow still. Oh, this has been a really fun journal. And who knew a brochure from a trade show could be so much fun? We did, right? So thanks for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow.